This is a man they once in a while call Mr. Las Vegas. My real name is Wayne Newton, and you're listening to my good friend and favorite DJ, the only DJ my friend Elvis would approve of, Jimmy Deal.
Hey, Daniel, how you doing? How are you?
Good. I love that intro. That's awesome.
Thank you so much, my buddy Wayne Newton out there in Las Vegas. And, of course, you're doing so well out there in Vegas at the Westgate Hotel.
Right? Thank you, yeah.
Show, man. So excited to have you on. How you doing? Everything going good?
Yeah, we're 3 weeks in on the show, and today's my first official day off from rehearsals and doing all the crazy stuff that it takes to open a new show. But yeah, I'm just excited that the show's finally settled in and we all feel good about it. And we're just happy to be at the Westgate.
Yeah, I know. It's a dream come true for you to work at the Westgate right there in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
And the King comes home. What an awesome show.
Yeah. It's very exciting. It's very surreal that I've been doing this for a living for 7 years, and to have a headlining show at the Westgate is pretty unreal to me.
Absolutely. Be playing in the actual hotel where Elvis had his 7-year Vegas residency, right? It was the International, then the Las Vegas Hilton, of course, now the Westgate. Tell me what it means to you to be playing that actual legendary, iconic hotel.
I still can't believe it. I mean, we're 3 weeks in, so it's still new, but I don't think I'll ever get over it, and I hope I never do, because it's very special. And just so people listening know, it's not in the exact same theater, because that's a 2,000-seat theater where Wayne Newton had his own little residency.
Right, I remember.
But I'm about 50 feet away at the Cabaret. You know, it's a 250-seat theater for an
Beautiful
Elvis tribute artist to sell out. You know, and right now we're doing 3 nights a week. Hopefully it grows and we can just keep doing more and more.
Right, and I hear you have a VIP ticket, though, and you could take people actually backstage, right? And you stand on the star there right before you walk on the stage where Elvis used to stand in the Elvis elevator, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so after almost every show, it shows you which ones are available, but almost every single show, we offer a VIP tour where I, as Elvis, take you backstage. And if the tickets grow and grow and we get more VIP, just so people know in the future, it'll be one of the singers and me. And so it's all like inclusive of like the performers. Right now, because it's new, I'm doing every single tour in the jumpsuit. And I walk you through the front of the theater. We go to the dressing room. We go through the elevator that he actually took onto the stage. They have preserved like the actual wooden stage that Elvis performed on there. And then, of course, now the renovated stage for Barry Manilow and stuff like that is now there. But we get to walk on it. And you get to take photos on the stage. I take photos with people or without, you know, whatever they want.
Right.
And it's usually about 20, 25-minute long tour. And it's a fun time. Sometimes I've had like 15 people, sometimes 2 people. And you just never know. So you could be the special 2 who just have like a private little tour, you know. It's awesome, though.
That's so awesome. Of course, Barry Manilow is in that dressing room where Elvis used to be downstairs and stuff like that. And, of course, the bar and all that. Do you get to hang downstairs at all in that dressing room at all or no?
Just for the tours, you know, I do want to go there like alone one time, you know, like just for me, like to personally just kind of feel it without thinking about the business side of it all. But I'm sure that'll be easy to get to. But right now we're still like opening the show, it feels like. But yeah, so I'm there almost every show. So 3 nights a week, I'll go and do the tour, and I'll be back there downstage with the actual bar that Elvis had. It's surreal, yeah.
It is. I mean, it's unbelievable. Also, do you get to go up in the Elvis suite at all?
Oh, I did about a week ago. We did a whole photo shoot and some video footage just to promote the show as the weeks go along.
Nice.
And it's now split up into 4 big suites. And Barry Manilow lives in one of them. And I was in the Tuscany, which is actually where his bed was located in, if you look at the grand scheme of what his suite was. And so I haven't posted that photo yet. I've been so busy, but I got to post that soon, where it's now a fireplace, a huge fireplace. But they're like, this is where his bed would have been. And I'm like, this is just crazy. I was on 3 hours of sleep that day. And I was like, this all feels fake. I don't know what's happening. I'll just look at the photos later and just be like, whoa, I did that. But hopefully soon I'll go and like maybe we'll have a party there or something. That'd be amazing.
It's an amazing place. I was up there once, man. I had such a great time. It was such an unbelievable experience.
It keeps going. Like, there's so many hallways. And I'm like, this is one suite of the 4. This is insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's beautiful. Even like a private pool on the roof, like all that type of stuff. It's pretty incredible. I could never afford to walk into that place.
It's amazing. I know. Now you've been in musical theater, right, for a long time, right? You worked in Million Dollar Quartet. Tell us about getting hooked up with that. I mean, you had a long run with that.
Yeah, so that was my very first start to Elvis. I'm a musical theater kid. I played guitar my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And my dream was to be Elvis or Johnny Cash in Million Dollar Quartet when it came out in 2010 on Broadway. So I was like, well, I'm 6'3". I could either do Elvis or Johnny Cash. I could probably resemble them, whatever. And I play guitar because you have to actually play guitar in that show. You are the band. And so I auditioned for 6 years, didn't get it for 6 years straight, and finally booked the national tour for about 3 years.
Oh,
and,
wow.
I didn't know it was a national tour, and I didn't know it was open-ended. So when I got the part, I was like, great, I finally get to do it in Abingdon, Virginia, like a small theater.
Right.
And they're like, oh, but after this month, we go on a tour. And I was like, I'm in. Let's go. Like, that's why I love touring. And so then it was open-ended. I left about a little over 2.5 years. I got a call from Legends in Concert here in Las Vegas.
Right.
And that's how I really transitioned into the tribute world, which is way different than the acting world. But my acting background as Elvis helps me tremendously in what I do now. And but yeah, other than the tour, Million Dollar Quartet, I still once in a while will travel to different regional theaters around the United States and do like a month long. And then there's Million Dollar Quartet Christmas, which I fortunately originated that role as Elvis in that show, the first one to ever do it. And then I also originated Elvis in Elvis the Musical, a musical about his life. So I've done that a couple times, and hopefully there's more in the future. I would still love to do it.
Oh, absolutely. And I love Legends in Concert, one of my favorite shows of all time. And I'm sure I've seen you in it when you were performing as Elvis in Legends, because I've been out there so many times and seen the show so many times. What was your favorite part about doing Legends?
Oh my gosh. You know what's crazy? At the time, it was hard to get through because so in the tribute world, you're kind of thrown to the wolves. But and I mean that in the sense of you show up, you have to have everything yourself. And this is, if you come from a musical theater background, it's a big change. So in musical theater, they give you everything. They have the instrument there for you. They have the costuming. They might wig you, whatever. They'll pay for your makeup.
Right.
In the tribute world, you have to show up with everything. You have to be ready to just walk on stage and go. And I didn't know that. And like, it's not Legends' job to tell me, hey, I don't know if you know this, because they expect you're a professional. You should know this. So the tough thing was, our rehearsal, I put in quotes, was the day of my first ever performance on the Las Vegas Strip. And it was about a 20-minute sound check. That was it. And then you get thrown out there. And it's bittersweet because at the time, of course, it's like overwhelming. Right. And then I'm like, oh, I want to honor Elvis in the best way. And I'm very stressed, whatever. But it also kind of makes you grow very fast. And I literally got my stripes by performing with Legends. And like, that's not many people can say that because it's really hard to get into Legends in Concert.
Absolutely.
So the fact that they trusted me and wanted me changed my whole life. And now that's literally why I'm at the Westgate. It's crazy.
It's amazing. Now, did you tour with Legends or you just stayed pretty much in Las Vegas?
I'll fly out to like one-offs and stuff like that. I do Myrtle Beach every February.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, every February we do it. It's called Back in the Building, where it has 3 different Elvises. And right now I'm doing the movies Elvis, like early 60s.
Right.
But yeah, with that, once in a while we'll do like a 1 day in San Diego and that's it. So it's very just random, but you know, I'm still part of the family, and if the schedule works out, I'm always going to do it.
Right. And you also were in reality television, right? Tell us about that. Tell us about Big Brother, man. How did you get hooked up with that?
Yeah.
And I know you don't give up because you tried out quite a few times.
Yeah.
Right?
So for those who may not know, it's one of the first reality TV shows of all time. It's right up there with Real World and a couple others, maybe Survivor as well. Mm-hmm. But back in 2001, I watched the show as a kid, and I was like, this is awesome. And in short, it's 16 house guests who are strangers. They never met. You get thrown into a house with no windows, and you can't leave. You don't use your phone. You don't have music. You don't have movies. It's stressing me out just thinking about it. You can't write. You can't sing. You can't do anything but talk. And then you compete for power. And I auditioned for 10 years straight, and it was on the 10th year that I finally got it. And it was truly a dream. Like I was like, I will do this until I die. Like I will audition until I get it, because there's no age cap. And so I think being Elvis in Las Vegas helped my actual chances, because of the like background of that story is kind of niche. Even though they couldn't play on that because it's such a iconic name. Elvis Enterprises wouldn't let them use the name and stuff.
Oh, really?
But yeah, just on the first episode, they're like, you could say he's a tribute artist. That's it. And, and then other than that, it's like, I didn't want to play on it though. I wanted to play my game as Daniel Durston there and not be cheesy, none of that stuff. And yeah, after 10 years, I finally got it. I can't believe it happened. 2 years ago today was my first day in the house, and I won the first head of household, which is like a huge deal in that game, which is like king of the house for those who don't know it. But yeah, it was incredible. It's pretty surreal that I was on that.
You definitely show persistence pays off for sure.
Yeah, and for Moondog Quartet 6 years, for Big Brother 10 years, and there's a couple other things I want to complete in my life, but I'm pretty happy with those two big accomplishments.
They're pretty big accomplishments, man. Congratulations on both of those. Those are great, man.
Thank you.
Also, I want to talk about the King Comes Home show. Tell us a little bit about the show. I mean, you go through the various stages of Elvis's life, right?
Yeah, so I actually have 5 different like costume changes. That's how much we kind of go through the whole trajectory of it all. And it starts with 50s Elvis and the famous gold lame. And then we go into early 60s, which is like I'm dressed like the Viva Las Vegas Elvis, like the kind of like the server diner jacket with the red shirt. And then it goes into black leather. We even do If I Can Dream in the proper white suit, which is a crazy quick change. That's the hardest one to get into. And then from there, we go into the white jumpsuit. So it's pretty incredible.
Wow. So you go through all those stages of Elvis's life. Do you have a favorite white jumpsuit to wear? Do you have a variety of them, or?
No, I only have one right now. They're so expensive. For those listening, they range $3,000 to $5,000 a jumpsuit. So at least the ones that, the higher end, really nice ones. And I only have one, and I've been taking care of it for many years. But hopefully, I really want to get a concho, and that specific one, or the chain suit. And those 2 specific ones is what Elvis wore here at the International in 1969, which is my favorite like jumpsuit era, and that's the one I'm trying to emulate. And so I will get into a concho pretty soon. It's going to take, maybe another month of paychecks or something.
Probably. Do you have a favorite stage of Elvis's life to perform? I know you did the 50s, of course, in $1 Million Quartet. Is that your favorite, or do you have the 68 comeback? What's your favorite one?
For many years, I like to say I specialize as 50s Elvis, but that's just because I had to study it, and I do love it. I love that everything was ahead of him. The energy was there, the rawness, the sex appeal was so new and dangerous at the time. It was very punk rock at the time, and I'm a punk rock kid at heart, and so that's amazing. But personally, my favorite has always been, since I was a kid, is the black leather 1968.
Really?
What's crazy is we call it an era, but it's actually one night in history, and that's how epic that day was. And but the black leather, I think there's more of like a rawness to it, and it's more natural for me to emulate that than anything else. And I like the raspiness of his voice, although it hurts my throat. I try to do the exact version, and to me, it's worth it to like put it out there, and hopefully people get what I would want as a fan as well.
So is that the most challenging piece of Elvis's life to perform on stage, the 68 comeback special on stage?
Vocally, yes, because it hurts. But energy and like stylizing, I would say 50s is still the hardest. And
50s is still the hardest. Wow. Okay.
Even though I've been doing that for 7 years, the energy, it's so specific, like which legs moving and in certain ways that he would dance. He's so obviously he made it up himself, so he's so natural at it.
Right.
It's hard to try to like be that same exact version, but you got to keep that energy up, especially starting a show. We open the show with it, so it's like you got to get back into 21-year-old Elvis mind frame and be like, all right, bring the energy. I drink these before shows. No, this is not a sponsor ad. Take 5-hour energy shots, and I go, let's just see what happens, But
yeah, there you go. You got to stay pumped, man. Also, I know the Vegas part is very high energy, so you really gotta give it your all in that. Do you have a favorite song to perform on stage?
Ooh, you know what? I think it might be Now. It changes often. you can ask any tribute artist, and they always like, well, it changes on the month. But this is the first time I truly have performed as a 70s Elvis. So it's all new to me.
Right.
And I'm still like studying it and this and that. And my favorite is CC Rider.
Oh, okay.
I think part of that is because the 2001 Space Odyssey intro is very like, here comes Elvis. The crowd is like cheering. They know what's about to happen. And I just love that. I've always loved that song. And it's so fun to perform finally.
Really? Wow. That's so awesome. And what about the Elvis fans? There's nothing like Elvis fans, of course. And they're so into it. They're so loyal. Have you had any crazy experiences with Elvis fans while you're performing so far?
I will say the one that always comes to mind is after a show. They're always amazing in the crowd. Like, and I love meeting all of them. But there was one time I did a meet and greet after $1 Million Quartet. And it was always a couple older group of people. Old school Elvis fans, and two ladies who are twins, I would say 60 plus or so, at our VIP meet and greet, beautiful women. And they were like, just like, oh, we're just so happy to see your show. It was amazing. I was like, oh, thank you so much. And this is like 5 years ago. So I felt like super young. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, it's so cool to meet you. And then one of the twin sister goes, I'll have you know, my sister over there, she kissed the real Elvis Presley. And I was like,
wow, how cool is that? Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, that's amazing. And I looked at her, I was like, does she want to kiss him again? Because they were beautiful. I was like, listen, 60 or not, you are beautiful. And like, of course, we laughed about it, but I was like, I just love joking with them like that. And
of course, I mean, you guys represent Elvis now. I mean, so
yeah.
It's pretty wild, Absolutely. What about Memphis? Did you ever play Memphis? I'm sure you have at one point or another, right? I know you've been to Graceland, I'm sure.
I haven't performed in Memphis yet. I performed in Tupelo last year, which was surreal to me because that's where Elvis was born.
Right.
And I got like the top 10 for like the tribute artists there. But Memphis, of course, I've been to Graceland and Sun Records, which is very.
Oh my God, yeah,
all of that
great stuff.
Is unreal. Like. It's kind of like a religious experience for a musician, for any musician, let alone an Elvis tribute artist to walk in both of those places.
Mm-hmm.
And so every chance I get, I will always go there. If anyone hasn't been there, I would suggest to go during Christmas time. It is the best. Like they kept all of Elvis's decorations, so they put them back up at Graceland.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It feels like you're walking back in time when you walk in there. So yeah, I love that place. I would love, hopefully now, my name's getting out there a little more because of the Westgate and stuff like that.
Right.
I would love to perform, a headlining show out in Memphis or something like that at the Graceland. Like, they have a stage in there and everything. So hopefully soon.
Tell us about. I know you're with 3 backup singers, right? I know and I heard the chemistry is really, really good.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah. I love them. We met like a month ago for the show. Joey, Paige, and Sujana, and we're all Vegas entertainers, and we all kind of learned this show together. Mm-hmm. They're all pros, and the banter in between songs is pretty natural. Like I have my segues to certain songs, but I kind of make it up on the spot depending on how we feel and what's happening in the audience.
Right.
And I kind of like to bounce off of them because I grew up in bands my whole life, so I love having a band with me and like dancing with them. So I have them as backup singers. So I'm like, all right, like let's see if I could get them to laugh. I feel like I did my job that night because we're doing it, 3 nights a week, and I want to make sure it stays fresh. And they're pretty funny. They keep me on my toes too.
Oh, I'm sure. And I hear so many good things about the show. I hear it's so high energy, and I wish I was out there to come and see it, man. Hopefully, I got to get out there and see it. Are you going to be there the whole summer? Are you going to be there the whole summer, pretty much?
So far, till our last day as of right now would be September 5th.
Okay,
the goal is that the word spreads, and hopefully the Westgate knows it's worth staying. It's kind of like up to our show to prove itself.
Right.
And so right now we're through September 5th. So if you guys can make it out here, that'd be amazing. Show your love and support. And hopefully with word spreading and ticket selling, hopefully it'll extend. And who knows how long it can last. I think it has great potential. I believe in the show very much.
Yeah. And I hear the show is absolutely great. Have any celebrities stopped by to see the show yet?
Elvis's stepbrother, David Stanley.
David Stanley's doing a show there, right? I mean, he's doing a show there.
Yeah, so he does, I think it's the first Wednesday of every month. I'm not sure exact day, but he does once a month called My Brother Elvis. And he does his own little story time, with all the photos. He was head of security for his tours in the 70s.
Right.
And so he stopped by not only on open night, but he came back last week on his own.
Oh, wow.
No one knew. And so in my head, I was like, he's back. He must like the show, you know, which to me, any celebrity showing up would be amazing. But honestly, obviously, as an Elvis tribute artist, like it's very special to have him there and like to want to be there and not just for an opening night type of thing. And so that was cool. Other than that, no, not that I could think of yet, but I will have my friends from Big Brother stop by, and that'll be
awesome. There you go. That sounds great. I know Barry Manilow floats around every now and then, right?
That would be cool. Yeah, hopefully I get to meet him. That'd be cool. I want to see his show. I heard it's pretty epic too, so that I got to see it. Like he's an icon. So
absolutely. So what's next for you, Daniel? I mean, this is Elvis. The King Comes Home. You have any future plans that you can tell us about?
Well, I'm hoping this lasts for a while. The goal would be to stay at the Westgate as long as possible. I think it's an honor to be there. It's a dream to not only live in Vegas, but perform and work as Elvis in Vegas as my own like residency is incredible.
Right.
Other than that, I write my own music and I write a couple musicals here and there. So my goal is to continue to produce musicals and put on shows because I believe in personally an age path or, I may age out of this at some point. I want to make sure that I leave it with grace.
Right.
And whenever that day is, who knows when, I want to make sure I have something that I could fall back on. And hopefully that's producing, even if it's Elvis tribute shows, I would love to keep producing musicals and tribute shows. I think that'd be definitely my future. Well, and maybe a reality show.
There you go. Elvis made his mark on Las Vegas, and you're doing it right now. So it's pretty awesome, man.
Thank you. It's special. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
How do you like living in Las Vegas?
Oh man, I've been here for 3 years. It feels like I'm finally I feel like more like a local than ever performing, just off the strip here. And but I love this place. I'm not a big fan of the 114-degree weather that's but it is what it is. And other than that, I love the city. I love the people. I love everyone who lives here. Essentially moved here, so they're just happy to be here. And obviously, a lot of tourists come here to have a good time. And so. Generally the energy is always positive, and that's just exactly where I want to be.
Right. I'm sure you own some really cool Elvis memorabilia too, right?
Yeah.
Anything special you can tell us that you have?
The craziest one, it's downstairs, so I can't run and get it yet, but
no, that's fine.
A friend gifted it to me. It's actually a little card with a photo of him in the gold lame, which is great.
Right.
But in the little square is a little piece of his hair.
No kidding, really? Wow, how cool is that?
It's been what's it called? Authenticated and everything. And so that is crazy to me. When I got it, I was like, no way this is real. But then the whole story is how they got it. And you're like, oh, through the barber who put, auctioned it off and all this stuff. So the barber knew what he was doing. But it's kind of weird in a sense, right? To have a piece of his hair, but also special where it's well, I'm definitely saving this forever.
Oh, absolutely. That's a nice piece of memorabilia right there for sure.
Yeah, I like the special ones like that. Yeah.
So tell us how we could get tickets to the show if we wanted to come to see The King Comes Home.
Yeah, just go to the Westgate website, and it's going to lead you to Ticketmaster. So you could even look on Ticketmaster, The King Comes Home, Las Vegas, or the Westgate. And right there, you could just, we do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays right now. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it keeps pushing and pushing. We can move into Saturdays. Would be amazing.
Oh, how cool would that be?
Yeah, I think if we get in the weekends, it's going to be unstoppable. But luckily, it's the summer, so people are visiting all week long. And so, oddly enough, Tuesdays have been a pretty crazy crowd. I'm not even kidding. And then last night on 4th of July, on a Thursday, it was the best crowd yet. I was like, this is people show up and maybe the word's spreading. People just want to be a part of it. And obviously Elvis at the Westgate is already special. And I think when they come see the show, they feel it. So yeah, you can check it out on the Westgate website or Ticketmaster.
Yeah, it's summertime in Las Vegas, so a lot of people coming out there. So a lot of people are going to stop by and see the show for sure. And there's a lot of Elvis fans, and they all go to the Westgate because it was the Hilton. Yeah. We got the big Elvis statue there right in the lobby, right?
Yeah, and then when you guys look at the tickets, I believe there's an add-on option for the VIP tour.
Oh yes, people have to do that.
Yeah, and I literally get off stage, and I think 5 minutes later, I'm meeting them at the International Theater as the full jumpsuit and everything. So
wow, how cool is that?
Yeah, it's been special for a lot of fans, and it's always special for me too. It's pretty crazy.
Now you do a meet and greet too, right after the show, usually.
When there's not the VIP tour, so because that kind of takes up the
right, sort of takes up the time for it. Okay.
But so we haven't been able to fit in the meet and greet after. Hopefully we do on the days that we don't have the VIP tour, but we'll never know which days those are yet. And so hopefully there'll be some type of schedule, or if the people follow me on Instagram, I'll post anytime it's like, oh, tonight there's a meet and greet or whatever, stuff like that. So.
Right, exactly. Well, anyway, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to come and hang out with me and find out all about your wonderful show, The King Comes Home, man. It's such an honor to have you on the show with me.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. This is super special. Anytime you're in Vegas, please reach out. You definitely get tickets. Don't worry.
Thank you so much, Daniel. I really appreciate that, man. You're the best. And tell us how your fans can keep up with you. Are you on social media?
Yeah, so everyone can find me on Instagram at Daniel Durston. That's Durston. And then on Facebook, just look up Daniel Durston. I think my Elvis fan page Facebook is Daniel Moreno Durston, and that's the one I'm going to utilize more because the other one's more like family oriented. But yeah, so just check those out. I'm more active on Instagram, and then I'm trying to get more on TikTok. And so they might find me on TikTok, Daniel-Durston. But yeah, check it out.
Cool. Awesome. And also tell us what time those shows are. I know that the one on Tuesdays right there. Some of the different times. One is at 5:30 or something like that?
Yeah,
right?
Tuesdays are at 5:30, and then Wednesday, Thursdays at 7:30 because we share the venue with Solo Motown, which is a great show, and the Jen Kramer Magic Show. So we're all kind of like back and forth. So people plan their day at the Westgate. A lot of people will see both shows in a row because if you're staying there, every show's different. It's so different that you get a different experience every time. But yeah, check it out.
Yeah, and that's such a nice room that you're in. I mean, I know it's right at the casino, right? And it's right very close to the casino, and it's such a great place to perform.
It's like still very vintage, and like it feels oddly big because there's a balcony. Even though it's only 250 seats, but it's a large room with a bar inside the venue, which is huge. That's rare these days, I feel like, when in that type of venue. So there's a bar in the venue. They have servers that come to your table. So it's kind of like an all-inclusive show, which is awesome. I think as a fan, I would love to be a part of it.
For all the people that come and see the show, what would you like them to take away from the show?
Oh, man, I hope people know, and this is what I've been getting back, fortunately, that I really do care a lot, not just about Elvis, not just about the performance, but about what the fans are getting from it. And my whole idea is like, how do I top my last show? It's not about like, what's going to make this moment, this and that, whatever. I just want to be the best version of whatever we're doing on that stage that day. Right. And I hope the audience walks away with some sense of like an authentic, grounded version of what Elvis was doing in those eras per era. And I hope they're happy with it. That's really what I care about,
Yeah, and then you celebrated an anniversary too, right? At the Westgate, it opened July 2nd, right? 60. What was this? Back in the 69, right?
Yeah. So
57 actually.
55 years.
55 years. Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, and then the Elvis opening night anniversary is coming up on the 31st of this month. So it's a big month for celebrations. We did like a new segment and everything on it, so it's cool that people really care, and the Westgate really cares about Elvis, and that's what makes all this very special. Yeah,
I heard the owners there were very big fans of Elvis.
Yeah, huge fans. So when you walk through the casino, there's photos of Elvis like in the casino or at the West, in the International and all that stuff, and you get other photos of everyone else who's performed there. But of course, Elvis is throughout the casino, including his music being played. So you can imagine me walking to the venue, going, "Oh my gosh, like I'm a part of this!" Like this is crazy.
It's amazing. It's cool. Plus, I know. Congratulations on the cover of Q Vegas magazine. I saw that.
Yeah, my first magazine cover ever, and it said my name on the front. And I was like,
"Yeah, how cool is that, man?"
Yeah, that's super special. And Russ, the owner and writer, came to the show, and so yeah, it's been great.
And I know before you did this show, you were doing a show with Marilyn Monroe, right? For a little bit.
Oh
yeah. Tell us a little bit about that show.
I created a show called The King of Maryland, which can also be found on Instagram at The King of Maryland. Mm-hmm. And when I left $1 Million Quartet, I was like, I spent so many years studying this. How do I? Now looking back, it's kind of funny that I was like, how do I make sure I don't just throw it all away? Little did I know it would be my whole career, but I still do it. That's one of my best friends. Alicia Soper is the #1 Maryland at Universal Studios, and she's a great stage performer as well. And so yeah, if you guys look her up, it's unreal how much she looks. She's like the ghost of Maryland.
Are you serious?
Insane.
Wow.
Yeah. So look at that Instagram or her Instagram. It's pretty crazy. And then when she takes it all off, she looks like Anne Margaret. Like red hair and everything. It's pretty unreal. But so I wrote the show, and it's just a tribute show of Maryland hit songs from the movies. and then any songs from Elvis's career, but also the duets that Elvis did with Aunt Margaret and stuff like that.
Nice.
And so I hope to continue to do that as well on my off days, and hopefully in the future I'll run it as a producer and maybe hire another Elvis and do stuff like that. And
cool.
So that I won't give up. I love that show very much.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, do you do the movie years too in the King Comes Home?
Yeah, we do. We do about 5 or 6 songs from the movie era. From like Return to Sender to Viva Las Vegas, Can't Help Falling in Love, stuff like that.
And, you do all the costume changes.
It's crazy. I always say, I think the crazier show is backstage in the costume, like quick change, because you usually have about a minute to change fully, even sideburns and everything. So it's a lot going on backstage, and it's about an 8x8 area where me and the singers are changing. So it's like everyone's just like very quick. It's insane. But I'm breathing a lot and drinking a lot of water while trying to get back on stage.
So awesome. Well, thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate you coming on the show, man. It's been an honor to talk to you. I hope everybody comes out and sees The King Comes Home at the Westgate Hotel. It's going to be there all summer, and what a show to see for the summer, for sure.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yes, we're there until September 5th. Please spread the word and come through. And find us on Instagram and do all that. The King Comes Home on Facebook and everything.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And also, you can hang out. I'm just going to say goodbye. We'll wrap things up, and then I'll come back to you in just a second to say goodbye to you. I just want to thank everybody who's listening out there. Cindy, the producer, is on the job. Daniel is on the show with me, of course. And, of course, Richie the Premier is out there watching. Hey, Richie, what's going on? Thanks for watching. Also, Tom Payton. Who else? Cindy out there in Lake Ronkonkoma. We have Beryl Bellis in Virginia. Thank you so much. All these people watching the show. I really appreciate it. And we're doing another show Monday night. Please come back for that. We got Hollywood actress Rachel Whittle, who has a new movie out called Protocol 7 with Eric Roberts. So that's going to be in the theaters coming up. I believe there's a premiere. I believe it's July the 7th, but we'll find out from Rachel on Monday. So join me for that. And also next Thursday, we have an Olivia Newton-John tribute artist who's going to be, her name is Moore. She's doing a show out in Long Island, and we'll find out all about that. So Moore will be here on next Thursday. And also my friend Lee Newton, who is a country music artist, and she's doing really well in Nashville right now. Going to be opening up for Sarah Evans. She just opened up for Randy Travis, so she'll be on the show. And also Owen Elliott is going to be here. She's the daughter of Cass Elliott, of course, from the Mamas and the Papas, and she's got a brand new book out about her mom. So we'll find out all about that book and all about Mama Cass Elliott with her daughter Owen Elliott. All that and more on Celebrity Spotlight. I want to thank everybody for listening. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Daniel Durston, for joining me. The King Comes Home show at the Westgate. Please go out, check it out. It's a fantastic show. All right. We will catch you Monday again. And thanks, everybody, for listening to Celebrity Spotlight. I really appreciate it. Have a great night, everybody, and a great weekend.